Hello and welcome to the Flourishing Introvert Talks with me, Jo Rawbone. This is the podcast that celebrates the natural gifts of introverts so that we can flourish in all situations. Episode 335. Possibilities know no bounds. If you've followed my work for any length of time, you will have heard me talk about how thoughts become things and the importance of acting as if rather than faking it until you make it. Much as I'd love to be able to claim these concepts as my own, crediting the original source is always important to me, and these concepts were taught to me by Mike Dooley, a contributor to The Secret and creator of the daily Notes from the Universe emails that so many of us receive. I guess The Secret is somewhat out of favour these days, but when it was first published, I'm not exaggerating when I say it took the world by storm. And since then, many of the original contributors developed successful businesses aligned with their niche. And it's also fair to say that there have been many others who took selected pieces from that work and became gurus by making it their own. And whilst I love how ideas develop once they reach more of an audience, crediting the original source or creator is morally and ethically right. Now, the reason that possibility feels important right now is because in the last episode I talked about whether we've written ourselves off. And I've found that I need to be able to continue to dream and dream big in order to keep going. Missions like mine are not built on a whim and they don't thrive on fresh air. Fortunately, I had help from someone very special many years ago. In fact, probably more years ago than I care to mention these days. You see, I trained with Mike Dooley as I wanted to and did become a certified infinite possibilities trainer and coach. This was one of the many pivotal moments in my life, not only for my personal benefit, but also for what I was able to offer my clients. I was constantly seeing people who had either given up on a dream or maybe hadn't felt able to dream in the first place. They had often settled for something mediocre, not because it lit a fire in their belly or inspired them to be braver, but because it was all they felt was possible for them. You see, once we start to grow up, you can tell by my tone I'm not a fan, we're discouraged from dreaming about what's possible in an unrestricted way. It's like we're expected to put an invisible cage around our thinking. I don't think this is necessarily done to burst our bubble or deliberately hold us back, but maybe more from a perspective of protecting us from the harsh realities of life. But here's the thing. When people say to us, "Don't get your hopes up," we learn that hopes are futile or dangerous or mere fantasy reserved for the naive. So we brace for disappointment, contain our dreams, and settle for just enough. The classic that is levelled at children far too often, and from quite a young age as I remember, is, "Who do you think you are?" When we hear this, we learn that ambition is arrogant, not aspirational, that visibility is about showing off, not showcasing the talents we have, and that wanting more is shameful rather than woven into our very DNA. When people say, "Oh, for goodness sake, just be realistic," we learn to play safe, setting our stall out for what we can safely achieve. And I think the operant word there is just. Have you ever thought about what the word just invites? Neither had I until just now. But it's hit me like an anvil to the face in a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Unless we're really careful, just invites smaller, simpler, safer, less, insignificant. Is that really what we want for our offspring, our loved ones, or our colleagues? Think about these examples for a moment. If I say, I'm frustrated, I'm sharing an emotional truth with you. But if I say, oh, I'm just frustrated, I'm implying that it's a minor inconvenience not worth attending to. When I say I'm an introvert, I'm sharing an aspect of my personality. If I say, oh, I'm just an introvert, the implication is that my introversion is a limitation. Are you getting the idea? One more for good measure then. If I say, I have an idea, I'm inviting you to explore a possibility with me. If I say, it's just an idea, I'm making an excuse and suggesting you don't need to take it seriously. How can one small word make such a difference to the meaning we make and the way we're perceived? It's almost inconceivable. There are many more examples of dream stealers with their justing along these lines, and I'm pretty sure as I've been sharing these, your own memories have been resurfacing. The teacher's mocking, the parent's voice, the relative's criticism of you. And for those who dismissed you with the cutting, you'll grow out of it, you can look at where you are now and realise you did just that. You grew out of setting your sights higher, of bettering yourself, of dreaming of a more fulfilling way of life. So I'm here to reawaken that spark you felt as a child before you grew out of it. And whilst I do that with intention at the start of my bigger programs, especially Frustrated to Flourishing, daring to dream needs to become part of our daily practice, not reserved for something supposedly special. Life is special, for goodness sake. And the thing about building it into daily practice is that it becomes a habit, which is exactly what's needed here. There are a few facets of Dooley's work, his underpinning beliefs, that make the habit of dreaming more likely. His core underpinning principle is that thoughts become things, and he adds the tagline, so choose the good ones. This is not simply about positive thinking or toxic positivity, though. It's about conscious choices. He believes there are no limits to what we can experience because we are limitless beings, hence his infinite possibilities work. And then, unlike many flaky manifestation gurus, Dooley says that inspired action is required to overcome inertia. Small, sustainable steps that move us in the direction of our desired outcome. So in order to awaken our ability to dream our future into reality, we need to shift away from the idea that life happens to us and accept that we are each active participants in the life we are creating. This doesn't mean that nothing bad ever happens. Far from it, actually. But we are more in control of the direction of our lives than we had perhaps realised. This is my reminder to me that I have a responsibility to use the agency I do have. I'll go as far as to say it's irresponsible not to. And if that provides you with a useful nudge, please accept it as a gift from me given with love. All of this may help you to understand why dreaming and exploring possibilities is such an important place to start on any journey of transformation. And because it acknowledges your current reality, it's not airy-fairy pie in the sky or divorced from how life is. So having started this episode with the title Possibilities Know No Bounds, I've reached the point where I can say that's not entirely true. There are bounds, the ones that you yourself impose. We've seen enough rags to riches stories to know that your start in life need not determine how your life pans out. It's what you do with it that matters more. And so it's time to fess up, dear listener, for I have allowed some bounds or restrictions to be applied to what I believe is possible. I am fallible, I'm human, I am work in progress. Fortunately, I notice much quicker these days when I need to change my thinking, and part of that process is being able to share my emotions. I shared my troubling emotions with one or two of my fabulous mentors recently, and it really helped. And talk about how thoughts and words matter, I very nearly said I offloaded my emotions to them, like they were a burden. My emotions are not a burden that need offloading. They are an important part of the infinite possibilities process, so I'm glad I caught myself in time. That allowed me to reframe how I was thinking about my emotions because they matter. All of our emotions matter, and they all have a purpose. Our job is to clock them without judgment. So let me leave you with this thought. Boundaries are important in almost every aspect of life as they keep us safe and protect what's important. But they have absolutely no place when it comes to your aspirations, your dreams, and the possibilities you are enabling. Your possibilities know no bounds. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, then please subscribe, rate us and leave a comment, because we know that helps other people find the podcast. And if other people find us, other introverts can flourish.
You are listening to an Intentional Media Production podcast.